Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a positive spin. Today we're going to be talking about Poison Ivy 2, Lily. Now, my history with this film, the entire Poison Ivy franchise is a little bit off and on for me. When the original came out on video, I saw it, I loved it, thought it was great, and then I kind of forgot about the fact that they made a second one or a third one and even a fourth one. But we'll get to that. So, being in a thrift store, I found Poison Ivy 2, Lily, on a DVD, and I bought it because, well, for two reasons. I bought it because A, I really enjoyed the first one, and B, let's be honest, Alyssa Milano is gorgeous. So, yeah, that was pretty much why I picked it up. And when I watched it for the first time, I was kind of impressed with the story. Now, granted, this doesn't have as much horror as the first Poison Ivy had, but that's okay. And by the way, when Joe and I started watching these, I had only seen part 1 and part 2. Part 3 and part 4, which a lot of people probably haven't heard of, um, are movies that I haven't seen. So I was familiar with the second one, but it had been a long time since I had seen it. And I do have it on a separate DVD, but I could not find it. It's around here somewhere. But I just thought I would show the triple pack anyway. So let's put a positive spin on Poison Ivy 2 Lily. Okay, this gets a 4.4 on IMDb. For me, I think that's a shame because I think the movie is better than a 4.4. And actually, I think it's quite a bit better than a 4.4. I wouldn't go crazy and call it a 6 or a 7, but it is a well made film and it's entertaining. So for me, that's definitely bigger than a 4.4 or larger, whatever. So the first thing I liked is the 90s feel. I love the 90s feel. It brings me right back to that time when my wife and I used to watch, we weren't married at the time, but we used to watch Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place. It just has that time feel to it. The second thing I liked is the fact that they were in college. And of course, this movie starts out with a bang, obviously. But I like the soundtrack and I like the college atmosphere. Another thing I liked is how this connected to the first one. I thought it was very subtle, but also very interesting because Lily actually finds a suitcase under the bed that has um, Ivy's things in it. And she goes and looks through them, and they're mostly pictures that were taken of her in the nude. But it's actually not Drew Barrymore. Did a little bit of research, and I found out because you can never see the face, only you can see the body. So I did a little bit of research, and it's actually Jamie Presley. Now, that caused a little bit of a problem because a lot of people thought that Jamie Presley was Drew Barrymore's body double in the first Poison Ivy. Now, if you've seen the first Poison Ivy, both the theatrical and the unrated, you'll know that there's not really hardly any nudity in it. But I already covered that in my controversial view video. So that did cause a bit of problems, but I will assure you that Drew Barrymore did her own scenes. That is an unfounded rumor. But I thought that was pretty neat that Jamie Presley didn't get credit for it. but did the nude shots anyway because, like I said, you can't see the face. So that's pretty interesting the way it all ties together. Um, like I said, I like the soundtrack because it has that 90s feel to it, which goes along with the clothing, the hairstyles, just overall filming style is very 90s. And it's kind of nostalgic for me. Now I'm going to talk about probably the biggest positives. Um, no pun intended. But you do get to see there's a plethora of nudity in Poison Ivy 2 Lily. And quite a bit of it is Alyssa Milano, which this was not the first time she had done nudity in a film. That was a different film that we're also covering this month that we already covered. Hint, hint, go back and watch the video for Embrace of the Vampire. So Alyssa Milano felt comfortable enough to do nudity again because it was the same director that directed Embrace of the Vampire that did Poison Ivy 2 Lily. Of course, it's very attractive people, so there's no problem with that, just eye candy. And overall, I like the story. I like that they were daring enough to do something different with the second one than to just regurgitate what happened in the first one. In the first one, you have Drew Barrymore who gets mixed up with his family and basically destroys them because she wants what they have. In this one, that is actually not the case. Alyssa Milano's character is attracted to the type of life that Ivy had, how she was so free and how she could do things that she would never dreamed of doing. So I like how she kind of comes out of her shell and starts to emulate stuff that Ivy has done, supposedly. We only get this in some pictures and some writing. So, like I said, I thought that the um, connection to the first movie is a huge positive. And you don't have Alyssa Milano trying to break up a family. It's actually the other way around. Someone is obsessed with her. And I think that was a gutsy move because a lot of what sequels do is they tend to regurgitate what happens in the first movie since it was so successful. But they didn't do that in this one. So, in other words, I think that's a huge positive because they went in an original direction. Now, I'm not sure what to expect from part three and part four, but I'm hoping that they go in a different direction as well. I'm very curious. So, like I said, there's a lot of positives to be had in this. I think it deserves more than a 4.4. Definitely check this one out, or don't. But don't forget to check out Joe's positive spin for Poison Ivy 2, Lily. And remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.